Hello, this is Howard Cooper, and I wanted to share something with all of you that actually is just a little bit more personal in nature. And I've been contemplating on not whether I should share or not. And the reality is, I've been really bowled over by a lot of people who have come on Jürgen's psychological illusion model training and then shared some of the results that they've had. So we've got Christine, who's been very openly willing to show the cat allergy video, and other people. So I just wanted to kind of give you a little bit of background. And by the way, for those of you who don't know me, I have the Rapid Change Matters podcast. I also am the guy that ran and organised Jürgen's training on the 5th to the 7th of May. And also I'm the guy that's putting together the video product that we filmed, because we filmed that 3 days. But my backstory, if you allow me just to kind of give you a little bit more of that, is that I got interested in this whole change work field because when I was 16, 17 years old, I was diagnosed as having a severe panic attack and anxiety disorder. And I was sent to a psychotherapist. And for 3.5 years, I had counselling week in, week out. And, I didn't get much better. In fact, 3.5 years in, and she asked me a question. It's a very well-intentioned lady. And the question was something along the lines of, trying to give me some kind of understanding as to why I was like I was. And I obviously put two and two together and kind of went, oh, is that why you're saying I am like I am? And she said, yes, Howard, and I've known that since the first moment you came in, but you had to get there yourself. And I thought, but I wasn't any better. And that's really the moment that pushed me into discovering some more solution-focused approaches like hypnotherapy, NLP, and I got a lot better much quicker with those methodologies and those tools. But what most people don't know, and well, first of all, how bad I was. And I couldn't leave the house. At my worst, I could not leave the house. My parents were very worried about me. They were thinking I wouldn't take exams. I would end up having no qualifications. But on the discovery of things like NLP and hypnosis, and being more proactive around all of this stuff, this thinking that we were doing, taking control of my thinking, I got a lot better. And I went off to university and things really improved dramatically for me. However, what most people don't know, and this is kind of my confession, is that even though I was 80-90% better, even for a long time after, and I'm talking like a long time after, I've had kind of echoes, as I would call it, echoes of anxiety. So there's been a couple of weird and wonderful things that even still, they haven't held me back, but I just haven't been able to do, or I've really struggled with. So I'll give you 2 examples, right? Number 1, okay, for some reason in a big supermarket, and we have one that's very close to where I live, whether it's the lighting conditions or the high ceilings, I would feel weird. To such a degree that there were 2 aisles. There's a whole row of aisles at the first half, and there's a whole row of aisles at the second half, and there's a crossover section where it's kind of open up, and I just couldn't cross over. I know it sounds balmy. It sounds bizarre. And I've been working with people for years, helping them with all sorts of weird and wonderful things, but I couldn't do it. I'd have to go on these really weird routes to go and get the food that I wanted, so I wouldn't have to cross the middle aisle. Now, I have, sometimes I'd have to use various tools mentally that I knew about, and it always felt like they were coping mechanisms. The other thing that was kind of similar was in tube stations. If I was walking in the London Underground, big long tunnels would kind of send this funny feeling. I'd have to walk on the side of the tunnel. And I just... For years, I've played around with various tools to try and get rid of them. These kind of residual echoes. Have they held me back? No, they have not. They've not been massive issues for me. But yet they have been surprisingly stubborn. So, that's kind of the background. But what I wanted to share with you is since the 7th of May, which was the end of Jürgen's training, these symptoms, these things have literally just disappeared. They've literally just evaporated. They've just gone. And it's been a fascinating experience for me because, so on the one hand, I absolutely know that change happens. I see it all the time. I see it with people. And on the other hand, there have been these little residual things that just for me have been quite pervasive and have not been able to shift. Yet suddenly, they just went. And I was telling a friend of mine that these things have just kind of disappeared, that they've just gone for me. And his question is, well, and he knows a lot about this kind of field. He's an NLP trainer and hypnotist himself. And he said, well, what is it? What's the difference? What's going on in your head that's different now? And I've been thinking about this because I'm not aware of having done anything differently. This is very similar to this idea that maybe at some level, unconsciously, I wanted to work on that perhaps. So my brain had kind of marked out the context by which I was kind of filtering through these ideas of they're all just messages. They're all just thoughts. But I'm not having to apply any techniques in the main. I just noticed it's different. So it's just changed for me. And I guess when I really pay attention to it, I think it's that there are kind of two things. There was the feeling that I would get, but there was also the images I was making of kind of freaking out, anticipation. On the odd occasion, I have caught myself making those same images, but I noticed it's like it's unplugged from the feeling. So that they really are just images, and I find myself giggling because they don't mean what they used to mean. The other thing that's different is when I feel the feeling. Occasionally I have been in the supermarket and had kind of a strange sensation. It doesn't go anywhere. It's like, and we use this idea of the sensations are glued to concepts or ideas, or the images are glued or velcroed to certain body sensations. And it really does feel that the glue, the velcro, has kind of been just taken out. I almost see, these old-fashioned telephone operators, and they would sit with panels, and there are wires, and you want to get through to someone, and they take out that and they stick it somewhere else, and to me, it kind of feels like the images and the sensations attached to it, like someone's just come and just unplugged them, unplugged the wires. So that's kind of how it's been for me. And look, I would like to post a couple of things at some point in the future, just talking through some of the insights I've had about using it with clients. But I actually just want to take a moment just to kind of come clean and say, this is my personal journey, this is my personal experience. And listen, if it helps stimulate some thoughts about what the change is really like when it happens, when someone has that kind of insight, then that would hopefully it's been worth posting. So I hope you've enjoyed, and speak soon.